to another Mother Runner, your best running friend in podcast form. We do all the talking, even on the uphills. I'm your host, Sarah Bowen Shea, and I'm joined today in studio, sitting right next to me, by my co-host and dear friend, Molly Williams. So welcome back to the co-host chair, Molly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to get this video thing to work.
This video thing.
Because we're used to looking at each other.
And that's the whole beauty of having you in the studio, is that we get to look at each other.
And now we're looking at a screen.
And half of it's covered up by my notes.
Right. Yeah. So basically I'm looking at myself. Yeah. But I can touch you. You're right there. We're hoping
I can grab your knee if I get scared.
Yes, you can do that. The microphone hopefully doesn't bleed into each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and it never occurred to me. And when you got down here to the recording studio, you're like, yeah, and where's my camera? I'm like,
well.
Then I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't think of it sooner. And then I'm like, wait, I didn't think of it. You thought of it. So thank you. Could you have thought of it sooner, Molly?
It's all new.
Yes. So anyway, so I say let's talk family stuff.
Family stuff.
Yes.
You have some news about John.
I do. My 20-year-old son, he has his dancing debut in New York City this week as we record. This episode's coming out a little bit later, but yes, he on Tuesday and Wednesday night, he is going to be doing a ballet-inspired piece. He's the only male dancer in it. And I got to see it when I was out at his school in Montclair, New Jersey. Shout out to Montclair State University. And so the piece is now part of a program that is focused as I understand it, all on kind of happiness and joy, which we all need more of in this world. And it is, I think it's at Lincoln Center.
Oh, wow. Big time.
Yeah. So I could be, he doesn't call from school. So, and he's very delinquent in replying to text. So that's information I've gotten in the past. So who knows if I'm correct or not, but I know for a fact that he is dancing in front of an audience in New York City on Tuesday and Wednesday.
New York City debut.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
I can't wait to see him on Broadway because I know he'll be there before too long.
Thank you.
Wish I could be there for this one.
Yes.
Well, in our family news, our middle daughter, Lucy, decided to get married this summer.
Yes.
Well,
so she was engaged, but now and it's so funny that I can't turn to look at you.
Yeah,
because
no, you can't.
Otherwise the audio quality will go down.
You want to show me a look of surprise, but they were going to get married next summer, but they decided to do it this summer because she really doesn't want a wedding. And so they decided that they're going to get married on a mountain pass in the North Cascades this summer. And it'll just be our family and her family, or his family, excuse me. And so in this way, it keeps it simple. There's not enough time to really plan a whole lot. So she doesn't have to plan a whole lot. She bought a white dress at Anthropologie that she's going to backpack up and then, put on for the ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah. Will that be nice?
That will be very nice. And I'm impressed that you led with that news rather than what I think.
Because you know the other news, but I can let everybody else know the other news.
Yes.
Yeah, that our oldest daughter is going to have a baby.
I know you're going to become a grandma.
Yeah, I know. I'm much too young. I know. Said nobody but me.
So yes, that's so exciting that Lane and Kevin are going to have their first baby.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, she's still working out like a
mother?
Like a mother runner. She sure is. Keeps her sane and happy.
And she's feeling good?
Yeah. Disgustingly good. I was so sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, she's having a really nice pregnancy. I'm so happy for her.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Were you sick?
No. Sorry.
Oh, I just vomited for 6 months.
Oh my goodness. You're
all
like
the time.
Kate Middleton.
I totally was. Yeah. If I'd been Kate Middleton, I would have gotten some sympathy. I didn't get any sympathy. I just carried a garbage can around with me to throw up into.
Did you really?
Yeah, at work. I would just carry one around, just vomit all day long. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Jeez, Molly.
Yeah. well.
Oh my gosh.
But I have beautiful children. So.
Yes.
And you do too. But anyway.
I was just going to say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, right.
Hey, that ugly boy of yours is going to be on Broadway one day when they revive the Elephant Man. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should talk about our other kids. Ellie is in Montana, so she just moved up there.
Daughter.
So that's exciting for her getting settled in. And your other children?
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. So Phoebe, my 24-year-old daughter, she just needs to pass a Spanish fluency test to graduate from Portland State University.
And it will be in psychology, right?
It is psychology and has a minor in kind of like, I think, family and adolescent issues or some. I'm not exactly sure.
She is just the nicest kid.
Oh, you're nice.
And such a fashionista, too. Maybe she should have done fashion as a minor. Bring it up to her.
She is a very stylish. Have you seen her recently? Sometimes you run into her around town.
I run into her, and she just always has a new, fresh look, and she just rocks it. She just is so creative.
Yes.
And then your beautiful Daphne.
She is back in the United States. She had been doing an internship in Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona.
Yes, for the first 2 months of the year. And then she traveled around Europe until she came back the night of the podcast party. So unfortunately, I could not pick her up at the airport. That was an unfortunate overlapping of important events in my life. And so, yes, she was possibly going to come. She's at University of Oregon down in Eugene, and she was possibly going to come home this weekend. But now it sounds like she's gotten a better offer. So
got a hot date?
Knowing Daphne, that would be the case. Yeah. And emphasis on hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you have beautiful children.
Oh, thank you. And she, I really admire that Daphne goes after what she wants in life in all aspects of
like her mother.
Chase like a mother. Okay, Molly, well, let's jump into our topic. This episode is part of our Feisty crossover episodes. Every Friday episode this month is a chat with a host from one of Feisty's other podcasts, now that AMR is a part of the Feisty family. Woohoo! I wanted to introduce listeners to other Feisty shows. Our guest is Kelly O'Mara, one of 3 hosts of the Feisty Triathlon podcast. Kelly is the former editor-in-chief of Triathlon Magazine, and she writes the popular Triathlon-ish newsletter. A mom of a toddler, Kelly was a pro triathlete and is still a very avid athlete. We've brought on Kelly to talk about stepping up to your first or new for you distance triathlon. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you.
Well, hello, Kelly. It's nice to see you, and I can actually see you.
The miracle of video, yeah.
Yes. So tell us about your triathlon background.
From the very beginning, I mean, the short version is I was going to run in college, but I had mono, and so I didn't. And then when I finally got unmonoed and was like, oh, what should I do? A boy I was dating was on the triathlon team. And I personally I've always liked more things is better than fewer things, right? Like the more, I always joke if we added more stuff to triathlon, I'd like it even more. So running and swimming and biking sounded great. And I did college club triathlon at UC Berkeley. And I highly recommend club sports to people because it's not, it's not NCAA. It's not stressful. It's fun. Yeah.
I was a club rower.
Yeah. Well, rowing is stressful. Let's be real. But
oh, because triathlon's not. No, not at all. And then tell us a little bit about your pro background.
Yeah, so I did it in college. And like the great thing about club, especially at Berkeley, was there's people who literally were just getting started. Like I didn't know how to ride a bike when I got started. And then there's people who are trying to make the Olympics. So there's a wide range. So I was very aware that you could go and be good at this after, like, because everyone lots of people I knew were doing it. So after I graduated, I actually took a break for a little while, did some other stuff. And then, I raced professionally / elite. I don't know how much money I made. So professionally might be a strong term, but I raced professionally in the elite field for right up to the pandemic. Kind of, I don't know if I ever retired, Sarah. I think of the pandemic and then just sort of
petered out. Wah, wah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what's your athletic life like these days?
That's why I just sort of petered out, right?
But you live in a fabulous place to exercise, might we add. Marin County.
I live in Marin County. And I'm always like, depending on how familiar people are, like if they're really big bikers, I can literally tell them what road I live on because I live on a cycling route.
Okay.
Trail running is big here, so that's what I've been getting more into. I had a kid a year ago, and it's been, I mean, I've written about this on kind of one of our newsletters for Feisty. The postpartum return has been a little slow for me and not super fun. So my running's been slow to come back. My biking's been slow to come back. I had like ideas that I was going to do a whole bunch of stuff. And now I kind of I work out, you know, I work out every day. I do something. Yeah. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So for folks who aren't already listeners of your show, describe the Feisty Triathlon podcast.
Yeah, so I assume if you're listening to Sarah, you're a runner, but if you want to add swimming and biking, we have a Feisty Triathlon podcast. Me, Joanne Murphy, the Ironman announcer, and Katie Zaferis, who won a medal at the Olympics, we host it. So it's a pretty wide range of kind of opinions and views, and we have different guests every week. We talk about a lot of news, a lot of gossip, but also we get a lot of amazing stories from our guests, just kind of everything from, you know, the gold medalist to, I think we're going to have one of the college athletes on next week. So it's just a really big range of stories. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it sounds really interesting. Do you do much for the beginner triathlon?
A Feisty Triathlon does, and we'll put a link in the show notes that we have a whole like guide to getting started for your first sprint triathlon that we put together for free for athletes.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can click on that. It has a training plan. It has all the most common questions, all that kind of thing.
Awesome. Well, that's what we're going to cover in this episode too. Yes.
We'll do a pitch for triathlons. What's so great about them? Yeah.
It's more fun than just running.
More fun than just running. Because you get to poop your pants on the run and on the bike, huh?
We have porta potties in triathlons. Yeah. I think the reason I liked it a lot, and I think some people probably, is when you ran every day, because I came from running, a lot of times you get hurt, right? Or you just like, it's kind of hard to maintain the amount you want to be doing and not get injured or not get burned out or not get tired. For me, having a different thing you can do is really, really nice. And I think that's what a lot of triathletes find is like, okay, if you're kind of sick of biking right now, just swim more. Or if you're sick of swimming, because that's the most common, you just bike more. And so it's like the balance. We all joke that hybrid athletes is like really trendy now, right? That's the term. That's just what triathletes have been doing forever, you know? It's fine.
Such trailblazers you are.
Exactly. Yeah.
But do you feel like it takes up more time because you're doing the 3 disciplines? I mean, are you also still working in strength training along with the 3 disciplines?
I mean, I do. I think, what's the joke? It doesn't take more time to be mediocre at 3 sports than to be really good at one. So I think it's not like, I mean, I think most people who triathlon, they only run twice a week maybe, or swim twice a week, or obviously the pros do crazy hours. But if you just want to do a sprint triathlon, you can do it on 6 hours a week of training or 5. You know, it's not, you don't have to do every sport every day for sure.
Well, yeah.
So, okay. So you alluded to that a lot of our listeners currently are runners. You know, they're not into the other 2 sports. So if a runner is tri-curious yet currently isn't doing much or possibly any cycling or swimming, how do you suggest someone morph from straight up running into triathlon?
It's the most common pathway. Like when we've done, because I used to be the editor-in-chief of Triathlon Magazine, and so we did a lot there of getting people into triathlon. And the most common, so Triathlete Magazine is part of Outside Magazine. We have running publications. And the most common pathway was they would come from one of our running publications and then want to do. So it's very, very common. For most people, the swimming is the biggest barrier. The not knowing how as an adult, I think, is the biggest thing that people feel overwhelmed about. And so if you're like, I'm curious, I don't even know how, I don't know how to get started, joining, I mean, it sounds intimidating, but joining a master's group near you, because there's always, you don't have to know how to swim to join a master's group. There's always a part where the coach can help you, can teach you. Like YMCAs, they always have adult swim lessons. Like, it sounds crazy to sign up for swim lessons when you're 52, but people do it, and doing new things is good for you. So that I feel like is the biggest hurdle people have, is like, no, like just taking that first step to going to a group, going to a club, signing up for lessons, just learning how. I mean, we interviewed the woman last year who's the 80-year-old who finished the Ironman World Championships. She learned to swim at 56 by reading a book.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah. So like people do it. Like you can do it. It just, it's that first step, I think, is the hardest part for people.
That's actually how I learned how to put my face in the water and alternate breathe, was from a book. And it was by this woman, Jane Katz, and it was swim 30 laps in 30 days. So, of course, my wisecracking friend was like, oh, sure, swimming 30 laps across 30 days. Yeah, what's that, 1 lap a day?
Right.
And I was like, no. At the end of 30 days, you will be able to swim 30 nonstop laps. So it was, I mean, because when growing up, I did not learn how to alternate breathe. I kept my head above water. My dad swam every single day, lap swam with his face out of the water.
It's so hard. Yeah.
He had a massive neck. He worked at IBM, and he had to get his button-down dress shirts custom made because he was slender with long arms and a massive neck.
I can see that. Yeah.
And you're a good swimmer now.
Thank you.
You're a very good swimmer.
Thanks.
It's doable. You can learn. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Kelly, what was your foray into triathlon? You were a runner, and then you had the boyfriend. What did you find to be, you said the biking was the most difficult for you? You must have had a swimming background.
Yeah. So I swam as a kid, kind of in that youth swim team, and I hadn't swum for 8 or 9 years or something when I decided, at 18, super confident, like, I'm going to be a triathlete. So because I was 18, I was just like, I'll remember how to swim. It'll be fine. Like, that was not intimidating to me in my wise youth. But I did not grow up learning how to bike. Like, I didn't, someone must have taught me when I was 5, and then I never did it again. So the biking for me was, I literally do not know how to ride this bike.
Wow. Like, you literally didn't know how to ride a bike.
Yeah. So a friend loaned me one, and then I took it to the park. And if you're familiar with Berkeley, there's this people's park where there used to be a lot of homeless camps. I took it there and was trying to ride around, practice riding between the homeless camps. It was very, for when people, as a first time story, it was interesting. So,
well, you didn't want to fall off, did you?
I was like, if I fall there, it'll be better. Yeah.
Yeah. But you had to learn how to open water swim.
Yeah. And I think, open water swimming is challenging for a lot of people. Yeah, it's very different. I think some people have a really hard time translating pool swimming to open water swimming. It varies. My open water swimming is comparatively better than my pool swimming, so I think it varies by person. Not because I like it. I don't like open water swimming. Something like my stroke just lends itself to open water swimming more. But for the people who are afraid of it, a thing we always tell them, and because we worked on a bunch of beginner open water swimming stuff before Kona, before the Ironman World Champs a couple years ago with Feisty. And something that somebody said was, you don't have to love it. Like, you don't have to get to a place where you're like, this is amazing, I love it. Because I think a lot of women get really hung up on I hate it, I'm scared of it, I'm nervous, I'm worried. You can just accept, I don't like this, it sucks. Like, me personally, I don't like it. I don't like animals in the water. I don't like it. But if you just accept it and you're like, well, I do things I don't like that much all the time, it's fine. Then you aren't also being stressed out about not liking it. You know what I mean? That is actually a very big hurdle for a lot of people. So,
but it didn't bother you that much?
Oh, I hate it. Right? I don't like thinking about the animals. Yeah.
You literally have sharks in the water there.
Right. I don't. The first time I ever did Escape from Alcatraz, I've done it 10 times. I had panic dreams for months.
Why
weird,
did you do that?
I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, what if I'm the first person ever eaten by a shark?
Yeah, the odds weren't 0. But you did it, and you liked it.
No, Alcatraz is great. Everyone should do that race one time. It's
you and Sarah could do it.
Oh my gosh. Well, but I am too thrifty because, so Kelly, I don't own a wetsuit, despite the fact that I personally love open water swimming, but it's because Molly and I have the most blissful pond that there's no boat traffic on. And we are the only people who swim there. It's a former quarry, so it has very steep sides, so you can swim really close to the bank, but not see the ground. It's awesome. So, and we swim there early May through mid-October here in the Pacific Northwest. So And I mean, what's necessary when dipping your toe into the proverbial triathlon water versus what can wait?
Well, I was going to say, Sarah, Orca is a great sponsor of Feisty Triathlon. We can get you a wetsuit. Don't worry about that. But one of the things we used to say at Triathlon Magazine, because this is a common thing, we did a bunch of different experiments where we kind of got somebody to the start line with just, can you do it with $400, right? Like from zero to nothing, what does that take? And I think people over worry about this. You need a bike, but you can borrow one from a friend. You can take your bike out of the garage, get it tuned up. Like anything works for your first one. Like don't worry about not having the nicest bike. You need a swimsuit and goggles. Most races, you actually don't need a wetsuit for at least like beginner races. It's not that common unless you live, a handful of places that have cold races in like April or May. But if you're swimming a race in the summer, you probably don't need one. And you need like running shoes, right? So there's like a set number of things you need: a bike, a helmet, swimsuit, goggles,
sports
and like
bra.
A sports bra, a running suit, or running shoes. You don't need like all the other stuff. The biggest thing that I think people get really hung up on is kind of the like what they wear. Like do I change clothes between each thing? Like what do I wear for the whole thing? And so that's like where I think a lot of people, like in the equipment list, a lot of people come up against. And you can do it in a swimsuit. You can do the whole thing in a swimsuit.
Oh,
Olympians do it. It's not. I wouldn't recommend. It's not my favorite, but people do it. You can change between. So you could do it in a swimsuit, pull on some shorts, do the rest of the thing. That's like a very easy, low cost way to get by. And then of course, like triathletes have suits that they can wear for all three that are basically just like, full body swimsuits that you can run and bike in. And you can pick one of those up if you don't want to deal with the like I'm gonna run in my swimsuit. You can pick up a very cheap tri suit at like Decathlon or Sports Basement or REI for $80 or something. Like it's not crazy. The ad hoc way to do that is just to swim in spandex shorts and a sports bra.
Yes.
That is the thrift store way to do it, but that can drag a lot of water around with you. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about being nervous to swim, and I was going to tell you about my experience learning to open water swim, because we did go to the pond that she's talking about, and I swam in a pool. I could do that, but I was so afraid to put my face in the water that we just went to the pool or the pond. We stood in the shallow end, about three inches of water, and waded kind of out to about 3 feet of water. And she held my hand while I put my face in the water. And that was, I think, the first day. I think that's about all I got done was putting my face in the water. And then it took me maybe 3 years to get comfortable in the water.
Yeah. Like in the open water, not in the pool.
Yeah. And now it doesn't bother me. But very concerned about sharks. Very few sharks in the quarry.
I would think, not a big problem. Yeah,
right. Very concerned about disembodied hands floating up.
Lots of fears about that
and
still.
That hasn't happened yet, but I'd say the odds are still not zero. But now I don't think about it anymore. So there we go.
I still think about it a lot. I will tell you. We lived in Boulder for a little while I worked at Triathlete, and two of my like guy friends, all the pools were kind of still closed, pandemic. They invited me to come swim in this pond with them. And I get there and it's like in someone's backyard and it looks like the sketchiest thing. And I'm like, well, there aren't really snakes, right? And they go, oh, not usually.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they're much faster than me. And I'm like, well, I don't want to get left alone with the snakes. So I was just swimming full out the whole time so I wouldn't get left by myself.
And then if anything touches you, a little twig or something, clearly it's a snake. It's a copperhead.
See, but
it came to kill you.
A snake needs to be on a firm surface to actually bite you. It can't just.
No. Not the water ones. Yeah.
Oh.
No. New fear.
Oh, see, because that's so funny because the house that I grew up in had a very small pond, and I'm talking very small pond, and it was skanky. But for some reason, I just adored swimming there with my dad through the algae and the muck. And there were definitely copperheads there. And occasionally my dad would shoot the copperhead. Sorry, snake lovers. And so that, and we had snapping turtles too.
Oh yeah, they're bad too.
Yeah, this sounds terrible.
Well, that's why you have no fear.
He just always told me they need to be on, like They need
he
to have their
lied
feet.
to you.
Yeah, he was definitely lying to you.
Lied to you.
What?
So what? No, what I was told. Here's what they told me, Sarah, was not those guys. Like what I've been told is that the poisonous snakes in the water you'll see coming because they're on the surface. And so that is what I've been told, and that's my comforting.
That's great. So when you take the breath and you're looking eye to eye, oh, that's the bad one.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you turn to take the breath, you open your mouth and in swims the snake. I just know we're allaying all the concerns that the people who feel trepidation about swimming are feeling. Mm-hmm. So let's give them some time to calm down, because it's time for a quick sponsor break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stick around for more guidance and calmness about triathlon. Okay. So let's stay with swimming, though, which is like, how much drills does someone need to include in, so someone's decided, okay, I'm going to do triathlons, poisonous snakes be damned. I'm going to do a triathlon. How much drills, how structured should the swim workouts be? Because I got to say, I know I'm not a triathlete. I love to swim. And when I go to the pool, other than occasionally using a pull buoy, I pretty much just swim laps.
Sure. That's what my husband does, and he swims basically the same times as me in races. So anyway, it works. I will say there's a lot of debate over the use of the effectiveness of drills versus not, and I'm not like a swim coach expert, so some coaches are very, very anti-drill. Like, you should, you're wasting your time. You should be swimming more. And some coaches are like, well, if you're swimming a lot but you're doing it wrong, then it's kind of a waste. So there's a hot debate. I'm not going to solve that debate for you. I will say, if you are brand new and you're like, you do have problems with your stroke, then that's when drills can help, right? But you shouldn't just do them randomly. Like, that's when going to a coach master's program or going to a lesson is really helpful, because that's when they'll say like, hey, you're turning your head weird, or like you're not catching the water on your left side, or whatever. And that's when I think drills are helpful. I think a lot of people just throw drills in and they don't know what they're supposed to be learning from it, and they aren't doing them right. So then it's like, what's the point? In terms of swim workouts, I mean, I make up my own right now, because I'm in a make up your own journey like place in my life training. And so I do make up my own workouts there, because I could not just swim straight, but it depends on what I want to work on that day. Like, sometimes I'll do some sprints, sometimes I'll do steady. But at the same time, my husband and I will go to the pool, and he just swims straight for 40 minutes. And I'm like, okay.
He's my guy. Yeah. Okay.
So sure. He's like, why are you stopping all the time? And I'm like, I don't know, because it was a workout. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about being self-trained versus getting a coach?
Yeah.
Being
so
a beginner, maybe.
I think coaching is pretty, I mean, I know you're going to ask me later, like, what's the best advice for kind of people who are new and people who are more down the road. Most people would benefit from a coach, or from at least a program, an organized program, something where they're not just making it up every day. Just for me personally, I got to the point where I wasn't training a ton in pregnancy, compared to my historical average. And I was just sort of every day was different in terms of what I wanted to do or how I felt. So I personally have now just sort of making it up myself. I know that it's something like 80. I know that's what most people do. It's 80% or something. I don't know how people, I don't know how people do that. If you just get up every day and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to run or swim, you probably won't do any, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
need a program. Yeah.
You need a program. You need to write it down, at least plan for the week. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, and for the swimming, when I swim and I don't have a good stroke, I get nauseous. And I actually have worked with swimming coaches, and nobody has been able to figure it out or help me through the nausea.
A friend of mine this weekend was telling me the same thing. That's a big problem of hers. And she's fine in the pool, but even when she swims in a lake, or your quarry you're describing, she gets really, really nauseous. So,
well, see, I'm better in the quarry because I don't have to turn. It's the turning. If I'm in a pool and I take too many turns, and then I'm done. I'm going to throw up.
Have you tried the long course, the 50-meter pools?
We have such lousy pools.
Yeah, that's why I just do the quarry. But even then, But if I ever get around to doing it again, I should go back to a coach. Yeah, could make a big difference, I imagine.
Okay, Kelly, so you did mention triathlon clubs. Could you talk a little bit more about those? Because I think some people don't know they exist, or they think they're only for hardcore people, or that they...
I've never heard of them.
You've never heard of triathlon club?
I don't
See,
know.
we just need to get one of those trendy New York Times profiles, how run clubs are all hot. Triathlon clubs are the next big thing. Yeah.
Right.
Triathlon
Meet your next
clubs.
husband. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're as popular as run clubs because, they're a little less easy. Pretty much Portland definitely has some. Pretty much every city has at least a couple. Like here in the Bay Area, we kind of have them by region, so there's probably like 4 big ones. It's a very social way to have other people who will swim with you. Like most of them are organized around, we have a weekly open water swim workout that everybody can come to, and like a weekly bike ride and a weekly track workout. Like it's very common to have, Tuesday night we do track, Thursday evenings we do like this swim, and like Saturdays we go for a walk. And you don't have to do all of that, but it gives you an option where there'll be other people who also are swimming or doing a track workout or doing a long ride that day. So I think that's really nice. I think for a lot of people when they don't want to swim by themselves, because most people don't want to swim by themselves, right? Like that's a really nice way to kind of get into that. The other thing that a lot of triathlon clubs provide is that sort of first, like if you're not ready for a personal coach and you don't want to pay that amount of money, they often have like group coaching. Like, hey, we're all going to do this race together in the summer. Here's a general plan. And the coach will be there on Tuesday nights for the track workout. So, it's not like he's going to personally answer all your questions, but he'll if you have like wildly pressing needs, there'll be somebody. So that's, I think, also a big reason a lot of people like triathlon clubs is they're kind of like a way to have more experienced people and coaches guide you and answer questions. Mostly they're social, though. I will say I did a story a couple years ago for USAT about some of the biggest triathlon clubs, and most of them are very focused on like the beer run. You do the run and then you go to the pub. So I will say, for all that they offer all this structure and support and social, it's also about like having friends that do the same things you do, or
well, that's important. Yeah. That's great value.
Gets you motivated. So what kind of race progression do you suggest? Do you suggest starting at a sprint, or do you think it makes a difference?
Well, if you're coming from a running background, right, and I told you the shortest race is an hour long, that sounds crazy, right? You're like, right. So a sprint's still an hour. So you should definitely start with a sprint distance. They're really fun too. I did one last year, and I was just like thinking about doing one again because it is still an hour and a half, 2 hours of it. Like that's still a good day, but you're done by 10 a.m. You can do it. And there's very few like high pressure sprint races in the US. Like you could find them, but they're usually low key, right? They're usually like at your local park, or I'm trying to think. What I did last year was connected to the university because it was a fundraiser. So, it's not like these are not high pressure situations, which means that you don't have to deal with like marathon type of stuff where there's corrals and check-ins and all that. Like you usually can just
waves.
Most sprints are like, put your bike on the rack, walk down to the swim. Like it's not complicated. And so especially if you're brand new, like that's the way to go. And I will say the most popular distance though is the half Ironman. It's kind of like the half marathoning of the way the half marathon is one of the most
popular. That's the most popular distance.
That's interesting. Yeah. How long does that take an average person to do?
Like breaking 5 hours is a big deal for women.
Oh,
like that's it's kind of like doing it in an hour and a half for a half marathon. Like that's a very good time. So I think a lot of people do them 5.5 hours, 6 hours. So it's a day, but it is very, very popular. As with running, you get less and less women the longer the distance is, right? Like that's true in running too. But 70.3s, yeah. They just had the first 70.3 that was almost 50-50. So yeah, it's a very popular distance. It's very fun because it feels like a really, really big deal because it is a really long, but it's not Ironman training. It's not going to take 20 hours of your life a week,
Yeah.
So
yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I guess I really would have thought Olympic was the most popular distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. What are the distances in Olympic?
Yeah, Kelly, you want to fill us in?
Yeah,
on that one?
so I guess in progression, to be clear for people who don't know, it goes sprint distance, Olympic distance, which is what you see in the Olympics, though we don't race it the same way, then half Ironman, then Ironman, And Olympic distance is about a mile swim. It's a 1,500-meter swim. It's a 40K bike, which is like 24 miles for us Americans, and then a 10K run. So that's all like very doable, each of the legs. It is very, very popular, to your point, Sarah. A lot of the biggest Olympic distance races have gone out of business in the US, which I think is one of the reasons. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that it's not as popular. I mean, you still have big ones, right? You still have like Chicago is super, super fun. Alcatraz is not technically an Olympic distance race because it's weird, but it's still one of the biggest ones. So, but we lost New York, we lost the Lifetime ones, we lost LA, so there's a lot of them that kind of went away. Yeah.
That's intriguing. Huh. And I trust you have an episode of your podcast that talks about kind of the changing landscape of triathlon. Yeah. Okay. We'll listen to that afterwards. So race selection. What advice do you have for newer triathletes or someone taking on longer distance for the first time? I was talking to a seasoned triathlete just the other day, and she mentioned how tough it is to find something that you've already alluded to, which is a low-key half Ironman distance event. Like she said to me, oh, well, I used to try to do a low-key and a more amped up half marathon each year, but that she said it's just harder to find kind of the homegrown ones.
Yeah, most of the half Ironmans have been bought by Ironman. There's not a lot of independent ones left. And then, like we kind of said, there are definitely Olympic distance races, but they're all kind of connected to like your local community center might put on a sprint and an Olympic. Like that does happen. So they're much, much smaller. So yeah, it is a lot harder to find kind of that mid-level race that's really popular in running. Like triathlon has lost a lot of those. But yeah, I think a lot of people, when they pick races, they'll do a local sprint or a local Olympic or just something that they can drive to. And then they might do something bigger. When you're picking a super big, like I want to do an Ironman or I want to do a half Ironman or something that's like really going to take you, like a goal, big. I always tell people like you could pick like one, you should obviously just go by gut. Pick what sounds exciting because you're going to have to get out of bed every day and do it. So even if everyone else tells you this is stupid, do it if you want to do it because you have to want to do it, right? That being said, pick something you don't have to fly to. If you've never flown with your bike before, because that does add a whole nother level of it's doable. We have a mechanic camp on cycling for women that like helps them completely like learn how to do everything on their bike, so you feel very confident. It's not as hard as it sounds, but if you've never done it before and it's gonna be like your first Ironman ever, it adds like another layer, right? So if you can do one that you can drive to, like that's always better. Doing ones that are the like course weather, like I don't pick hot races because I'm terrible at hot races. You might want to pick lake swims because if you're really not into open water swim, right? Like there's things like that. Like don't pick an ocean water swim if you've never swum in an ocean before. So that's like huge. But I will tell you, I was reading something like a couple days ago that said we're all picking our races wrong. Yeah.
And how so?
That we should be picking them based on like the data, of like if we're a good runner, we should be picking the courses with like the run where the run makes the difference. Yeah.
Oh, that's so nerdy. That also just doesn't speak to a lot of people's experience. I mean, some of it might be, well, it's my girlfriend has a timeshare right near there, so that's why we went and did it. Or my in-laws live near there, so they can take care of the kid while I'm racing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let me guess. A man probably wrote that article. So I did 2 triathlons way back in the 1990s.
Okay.
And I worked at a participatory sports magazine there in San Francisco. So I think that's how I knew that I should set a goal for each portion of the race. And my goals were to not have my goggles kicked off my face in the swim, to not fall off my bike, which was my 6'5" husband's bike. And so that didn't fit me real well. And then I didn't know the term, but I didn't know that it was called negative split, but I wanted to run the second half of the run faster than the first half. So I was so proud that I was able to check each of those goals off.
That's really good.
I was really pleased. Yeah. I really had to, much like working at Feisty, I really had to, impress my colleagues. So so are those realistic goals for a first-time triathlete?
Yeah, I mean, you're making me laugh because you were naming like process goals, right? Versus outcome goals, but you're supposed to pick process goals you can control. You can't control if someone knocks your goggles off.
Right.
Yeah. So I was supposed to make me laugh. But yeah, you're supposed to pick like goals you can control, right? Like if I get my goggles knocked off, I will stop and regroup and not panic, right? Like you're supposed to pick like things like that.
That's a really long goal, Kelly. I can't write that in Sharpie on my arm.
Yeah. Well, one of my goals was not to have a panic attack during the swim.
Oh,
and I managed to do that. I actually did have to float on my back for a while.
That's fine.
But then I didn't panic. No. Yeah.
So yeah, you are definitely supposed to pick like little process goals, like I will finish the swim strong, right? Or I will for like as you get more involved, it'll be like I will focus on, breathing or sighting or the same way in running, you're supposed to be like, I'm gonna focus on keeping my turnover high instead of being like, I will just run fast. Like that doesn't work, right?
I have to share that so a very good friend of mine still to this day was one of my colleagues at that magazine that I talked about, and he ended up becoming the editor-in-chief of Inside Triathlon Magazine. But he had never done a triathlon before he took the job.
Yeah.
And so he had also never swam in a wetsuit before he did the race. And so, my gosh, would you believe it was kind of constrictive? And so his breathing was he just really kind of panicked because, and so he grabbed onto, a kayaker or somebody who was on a board out there, and he literally hung on to it for a while. The guy was talking to him. And finally the guy was like, okay, do you want to start, swimming again? Being gentle about it. Chris was like, no, I want you to take me back to shore.
And did he?
Talk about an ego and having to tell your colleagues on Monday. I mean, come on. And so it takes him back to shore, and Chris was married, had his first daughter was there, and so he was acting like he was done, and his wife was like, no, go on the bike and the run, like those are the things you love. He's like, what? So he did, but she had to kind of talk him into it.
But he was disqualified.
I think his results wouldn't be official because he didn't do the swim, right?
Yeah, but a lot of races they will let you continue if you have to get
that's
pulled.
Good to know.
Yeah. But if his wife hadn't been there, I think he would have just gone and had that beer that you were talking about.
I will tell you, I have seen in Ironman races the last finisher before midnight. It's not midnight anymore because it's but whatever. The last finisher before the cutoff is a really big deal. And I was at a race one time, and this guy, they track him the whole time. There's like people following, like this person's gonna be this first, and he was wavering, and he wasn't gonna make it. And they got his wife on the phone, and she's like yelling at him on the phone, like, "Get up! You have 5 minutes." So there you go.
Oh my gosh.
And so, what is your best race day advice for a newbie versus maybe somebody who's done a triathlon but is stepping up to a new distance?
Yeah, so new triathlete, or like, you just want to try one, you're brand new, you're like, triathlon's really scary. What we always tell people is like, don't overthink this. You're thinking triathlon's really, really intimidating, but if we told you like, we're just going to go out and exercise for a while, you'd be like, oh, I do that like every weekend. I swim, I bike, I hike, I strength, right? Like most people who are ready to try for triathlon, they're already exercising. So you're just like, just go out, you're exercising, like don't stress about it. And I think that is the first step, and the advice we always tell people, like, just do it. Stop thinking intimidating triathlon. Just think I'm exercising for a while. And then when you are ready to like kind of do more and step up and get all nerded out about it, I do think a coach or a program, like having an actual structure, is really valuable. Obviously, triathletes have the stereotype of being planners, like they don't need more structure in their life. But if you're brand new to it, taking that step from, hey, should I run today, to like, oh, I run on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays or whatever, is really valuable, because it does mean like there is a progression, which is really important in training, that there is like, that you're going to hit the amount, like the things you need to do to be ready for that race in 6 months, as opposed to just maybe I will, maybe I won't. And it gives you kind of like check marks along the way to be like, oh, I did this or I didn't. So I think even if you're not like, oh, I want to pay for an individual coach, if you join like a club or a coach program, I mean, like Feisty, we have a few of these kind of coach programs where a group of people kind of train together for 12 weeks because it is helpful. Or, you can, obviously there are also programs you can sign up for, kind of online. So I think that is kind of the next big step for a lot of people.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah. So, okay, so you've told us not to stress, but what about the people who are like, oh my gosh, but there's going to be people there in like really, expensive bikes,
Right.
the fancy tri-suit. They're gonna, probably if it's a loop course, they're gonna, mow me down while they're doing their second and I'm only going through my first loop. So how do you get over that nerves of being around those kind of veteran triathletes?
Type A triathletes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, that is definitely a thing, right? Like the kind of stereotype of triathlete is a stereotype for a reason. I'll tell you, I've been doing this for like 20 years and I don't see it as much as people think it exists. Like it wasn't even until I took the job at Triathlon Magazine that I was like, oh, these people really do exist. So you can have an entire triathlon life with your friends and your club and your local races and like never even really deal with that. Obviously, once you get into bigger events like Ironman branded events, the big qualifying type races, like, yes, that those people are very much a thing. They are often male.
Oh, yeah, surprise,
weird.
surprise.
Yeah, I know. Shocking. I will say the female, even the very, very good women are still very, very supportive. Like I race professionally. So just keep that in mind, right? Like some of this is just dudes being dudes. There will be women there who will stick up for you, who will help you zip up your wetsuit, who will answer your, like I have always had someone answer questions when I didn't know what was going on. And then the rest of it's like, you just fake it till you make it. Like, I don't know how many times I've been like, oh yeah, I should be at the front of this swim, like the start. And I don't deserve to be at the front of the start, but neither do the guys who's standing next to me. They're not, right? So it's like, you just know they're making it up too. So.
Well, and that, to your point about there will be people there to, zip up your wetsuit. At some races, there are people who help you get dressed, right? Or is that
I mean, at the big
really
ones.
high-end?
At the Ironmans, there are changing tents and wetsuit strippers. That's like kind of another level. It's certainly not common. It's not like you're not going to come across that in like
There's
your
no
first
volunteers
race.
doing that.
No, not generally speaking. And they got rid of a lot of those kind of jobs during the pandemic because of concerns. So,
well, that's too bad. Yeah, but I bet there'll still be maybe a jar of Vaseline somewhere to be found at in the transition areas. Yeah. All right. Well, for more triathlon talk with Kelly and her co-host, listen to Feisty Triathlon wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening and maybe watching Molly and me share our camera on YouTube. Our show is a production of Another Mother Runner and Feisty Media. For more on Feisty and our other podcast events, workshops, and Feisty Fest, where Kelly and I will both be in September, and I am lobbying for some open water swimming while we're there, visit feisty.co. That's feisty.co. Thanks a bunch, Kelly.